Trigger warning. Viewing the following content may cause intellectual strain and swelling of logical capacity. If you suffer from perpetual rectal discomfort, viewer discretion is advised.
And I'm going to go on to explain this a little bit. I think part of it has to do with, two pretty important aspects. One is family, and the other one is policy.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to share a paper here. It's from the National Association of School Psychologists, right? And it's specifically about grade retention, or more commonly known as being left back.
Yeah.
And social promotion. And they kind of go through a kind of long-winded talk about grade retention, and it's almost entirely about grade retention. And the one thing that I find immensely amusing about this is they make assertions, and again, this will be linked, so if anybody wants to read this, they can find it. They make a lot of assertions about race, about being poor, a whole lot of things, right? And that being left back is somehow tied to like some sort of systemic structure, right?
Yeah.
But in the summary, and again, I'm not going to read all of it, right? But the very first part of the first sentence tells you everything you need to know. Whereas the effects of social promotion have been sorely under-investigated. In other words, the researchers are boldly admitting we have done absolutely nothing to verify whether social promotion is actually doing these children any good.
Yeah.
And I think that when you look at it from that point, it kind of it makes it pretty clear that there are other things affecting Gen Z other than just being part of Gen Z.
Yeah.
I'm looking in particular right now. There's an article here. It's on the Daily Caller, right? It's not one student was proficient in math in 23 Baltimore schools. Okay, and they go on and they literally, through an analysis of 150 Baltimore City schools, 23 of them, including 10 high schools, 8 elementary schools, 3 high schools, 2 middle schools, no students met math grade level expectations, according to a report by Project Baltimore. That's approximately 2,000 students that took the test, right? Mm-hmm. And then they go on to also say an additional 20 schools in the district had no more than 2 students that were proficient in math, right? Now when you hear something like that, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How can you have entire schools where nobody is actually at grade level in math? Now, one side is going to say, "Oh, well, they're not spending enough.
Yeah.
That they're not providing enough resources, right?" And when I hear something like that, it just makes me immediately question it, right? Because I'm also providing another link here where you could see that in 2022, Baltimore spent $21,000 per student, right?
Mm-hmm.
And according to the U.S. Census, in the state of Maryland, right, in the U.S. Census in 2020, in the state of Maryland, the spending per student was $14,762 per pupil. So they are literally spending a third more per student, yet still their students are getting these ridiculous, just embarrassing results.
Yeah. I feel like the big problem and the question is, is it the students, is it the parents, is it the school? And in my opinion, I feel like it's all three. I feel like it's a bit of both. The students' behavior, their attitude towards getting an education. I feel like that is on them, because you can get a student who comes from a family in poverty and still that student can, perform extremely well academically. The thing is, it makes it harder for that student to obviously have any motivation to do that. But it's such a large, it's not like a small minority, you know, it's such a large thing you see with Gen Z that it's definitely there. It's not just a small amount of people. I feel like with the parents, it's a lack of proper parenting, for lack of a better word. It's, you know, they haven't necessarily raised their kids well. I really don't know how else to put it, you know, because it's not good. We've never seen stuff like this before. And then when it comes to the school's end, I feel like the school, they're focused on, you know, just getting the kids by. They don't want the best for the kids. And then on top of that, you just got the kids who don't really care to be there.
Well, they definitely. I think it's pretty clear that you can account for parental involvement being a big chunk of it, but students' attitudes.
Yeah.
Where do they come from? You know,
yeah, from the parents.
They're largely coming from the parents, because if the parents don't care, the kids aren't going to care.
Yeah.
But it also, you know, touches upon, especially in inner city large schools, you know, the demoralization of teachers. Now, there's multiple factors to that. Part of it is, you know, dealing with, you know, crappy behavior from kids. The other part of it is you know, to a certain degree tied to the union. You know, when you as a teacher, when you genuinely care about students and you come in every day and you try your best for each and every one of those kids, and year after year, you end up getting the same exact pay raise as the teacher who comes in and does the bare minimum that's required by the contract. You know, eventually you get to the point where you're gonna be like, you know, what's the point? Why am I continuing to do this when I just have to deal with these kids with these really, really bad attitudes? I have to deal with unsupportive families, and then on top of that, the school is not allowed to recognize my effort because of the union contract. So why should I keep doing this? You know, and I completely